When we had the opportunity to speak to you, I was like, well, she's somebody who, when we went into Paris, maybe weren't, focusing completely on, and your story's just excellent, for anybody who hasn't been aware of the Georgia Bell story. You were in athletics when you were young, and then you went and started the real world of work. Is that what you would say it as? And
yeah,
the rest is history.
yeah, absolutely. I was kind of a good junior, like was doing well at sports day, and then got into athletics to a relatively high level, was winning kind of like national championships, and then went over to the US on a track scholarship. And while I was out there, I had an amazing experience, but ultimately never ran faster than I did in the UK. So when I graduated, it was kind of like, oh, what happens now? I've got to be a grown up and join the real world. So I stopped running totally, got a corporate job, and only through COVID did I get back into running competitively, and then made it to the Olympics this summer and got a bronze medal.
Amazing. I mean, getting back into running then during COVID time, everybody getting back out and trying to hit the pavements and give themselves some breathing space
Yeah.
that was needed. A park run for you might have been a bit different for a park run for me. Like, you must have realised I've still got this.
Yeah, I think so. So as you say, all you could do was really get out for exercising. And so I just really looked forward to that time in the day where I could go for a run. That kind of escalated to, oh, I wonder how fast I could run a 5K. And I entered a park run and ran a kind of speedy time, like just over 16 minutes. And so that's
5K in 60 minutes?
Yeah. And so that's kind of what led me to reach back out to my old coach, who is still my coach today. He trains me and other Olympians like Keely Hodgkinson. And that just kind of set off a new training plan for me that got us here.
Yeah, I was just speaking to one of your managers and going through Instagram, the pictures of you and Keely Hodgkinson in South Africa at training camps.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such an advert. You both look absolutely incredible, strong, powerful women who have just bossed Paris, out training in the sunshine. I'm like, I kind of want to be them. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be you when I grow up.
That's nice to hear. I will say it looks, it might look really nice, like the sun when you're back here at home in the cold. It is hard work. Like, we are pushing ourselves really hard. There's sessions where we're like just almost delirious because we're really just putting on ourselves in that much pain. But, we have a coach who knows what he's doing, and it is so much fun. I feel really lucky that I'm just able to do it as my job because I, only have got to do it since Paris. So I know what it's like to do the hustle of working full time and trying to train around it. So, yeah.
And your job is pretty interesting too. Cybersecurity?
Yeah.
What you did before going back to running full time?
Yeah, I worked in cybersecurity software, so tech sales for 7 years. So just when I graduated from university out in the US, first job I went into, continued to do it. And it is a really interesting industry, like a very interesting job. Obviously, the world is changing. So it was interesting to throw yourself into kind of a brand new challenge. But I always thought I would be a runner. So I also had a little bit of, an identity crisis, I guess you can say, of just thinking I am one day going to make it to the Olympics and be a professional athlete. And then kind of getting to 23 and realizing that just wasn't going to happen anymore, and having to accept that and go into kind of corporate life was really tough.
Yeah.
But I got there in the end.
So what was the moment, Georgia, where you thought, well, actually, like you say, the park run, what you entered, but where you thought, I actually might try this again full time? And who was encouraging you on that journey?
I was lucky that I had just really supportive friends, family, husband now, that it didn't start with me doing a park run and being like, right, I'm going to the Olympics. Like, that would have seemed absolutely bonkers at the time if I'd thought that. It was all just kind of gradual steps. It was like, okay, you've done a good park run. Maybe it would be good to follow a plan, like go back to your old coach. It's like, okay, that's going well. Maybe we can enter some track races again. So, okay, well, why don't we see if we can get you an agent? And it was all kind of small compounding events that then led me to be in the shape of my life before Paris, and actually go in and think, this could actually happen. Like, you could actually get a medal.
Crazy. And you went to your bosses then at work and said what?
Yeah, so I was working full time until May this year, but I went up to them.
May?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a tight turnaround then to the bronze at Paris.
Yeah, it is a tight turnaround. Like, I was doing all of the training before. I was just doing it at all hours of the day, like early mornings, late nights. But I was able to slam my laptop shut from May the 1st. And that's what allowed me to kind of rest, get nutrition, go to the gym, all of the stuff you need to do as a full-time athlete. But back in March, I went to my boss and just said, I think that I could potentially make it to the Olympics, but we won't know until right before. I really could do with the work-supported leave just to like give myself a shot. So that the idea was, if I didn't make it, I could always look back and be like, you know, I really tried, but I knew I'd always regret it if I just didn't give it one shot of going all in, because the Olympics only comes around every 4 years. You know, you've got to seize those moments.
And you blooming did, Georgia. Like, I followed every single hour of the coverage from Paris. And as I said to you earlier, you were one of my standout, you know, people who really shone through as an athlete.
Thank you.
How do you, as an athlete, not mess up that moment, with nerves or media around you, or the circus that can come along with it? Like, hold your focus to get a PB and a bronze on that day? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it takes practice, like the mental side as well, to not let the moment get the better of you. And I think for me, I've had times where I've had serious self-doubts. Obviously, I dropped out of sport completely because I didn't think I was going to be good enough. So that was when my self-confidence was, you know, at a complete low. But over the years, and taking time away from the sport has allowed me to come back in and be like, seize the moment. You know, you've done all of the training, like you really believe in yourself. You have people that believe in you. And it takes an Olympic final and a huge moment like that to have the race of your life. You know, if I went down to an empty stadium and tried to run that same time, no doubt I wouldn't be able to do that. But when you have 80,000 fans cheering you on, all the support at home, you get super patriotic in the Olympics. I was watching everyone on Team GB do well. Like, I really wanted to make my contribution as well to the team. And you just kind of have to use that energy to push you forward rather than letting it overwhelm you.
Can you explain that moment of walking out to the track for the finals? Because I'm like literally a kid, you know, trying to dream that moment kind of thing, when you walk out and everyone's like cheering and it's like Georgia Bell, Team GB, and like,
it is.
How'd you behave?
It is a crazy feeling. I really like it. I just think it's really one of the few bits in life where you can really feel so in the moment and present. Like, you're not distracted by any phones, screens, conversations. It's actually just zoned in. All of the other athletes that you're lining up with, you can feel like the nerves, but also the adrenaline. Everyone's excited to race. And it comes around every 4 years and you've got this huge moment. It's taken so much to get there. There's so much behind the scenes beyond just the training. You've got to go through so many rounds of qualifying to even make it to the Olympic final. And so I think it is just walking out into the stadium. You stand there and you can't see the crowd yet, but you can hear them.
Yeah, I bet, like all the way through.
Yeah.
And even then, that's the stadium there. Spectators all around the world, you know, willing you on, you know, that moment. And then, you know, you cross the finish line, you get the GB flag and you're celebrating with your friends and family. It's really amazing to watch at home. And I think maybe you'll know how you've affected others, but the actual impact that has on youngsters to go, I want to do that.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. I hope that is the case, because, you know, I remember watching Dame Kelly Holmes when I was a kid and watching her win the double at the Olympics in 800 metres and the 1500 and thinking just like, wow. And that's a moment that really stands out in my mind. And so, yeah, hopefully others can kind of watch us coming through. And we do have a really amazing crop of athletes coming through in Great Britain. Like, there's so many good youngsters coming through, and that's really exciting.
Yeah. What's it like being pals with Keely? Because she was another person who just like, she stole the show.
Yeah.
Up for Sports Personality of the Year.
Yes.
As well. Which I think by the time we hear this, she might actually have already won. I think she's a favourite.
Hopefully she does win, you know, fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, she's so inspiring. She's so hardworking. Like, we're teammates. We go through the the trenches together, the struggles with training. So I know and see how much it takes to get to that point. And she just handled herself so well in Paris. She had the expectation on her, and talk about the difference that we had. I had the ability and the luxury of being an underdog, so I didn't have any pressure on me, and that was a really nice position to be in, because you can just go for it. Whereas when you have all of the expectation on you, you know, it's a privilege in some way, but it's a lot to stand up to, you know, delivering on how you think you do, but also how everyone expects you to do. So she did so well.
She really did. I mean, it was outstanding. She won it, you know, completely well. Can I ask you, just when you mentioned about doubting yourself in the past, what were the steps you took to get that self-confidence and go again?
It wasn't, you know, an overnight thing at all. It started with going back to the basics when I started running again, doing it for the enjoyment, because I looked forward to it, because I like running, and then building up from there, having friends and family and parents and stuff saying, oh yeah, you should enter that race, that you could do that, and getting that kind of support structure around you, putting in the work to know I've done everything that I need to do to be here and have a good race. And then it's just on race day, allowing yourself to rise to the moment and not let the moment get the better of you. It's something that you have to hone in. So it's taken a while, but yeah, I think just got to go through all those steps to stand on the start line, really believing that you can do it.
And I take it this is the plan, like you're a full-time athlete again. You've got Glasgow, the Commonwealth. When is that next?
2026.
2026. And then is there a plan for another Olympics as well?
Yes, that's the plan. Yes. So I'll be aiming, or I am aiming for LA in 4 years, which sounds like a long time, but it'll come around really quickly. It's already 3.5 now. So we've got big championships every year. We've got Worlds in Tokyo next year. And basically any time that there is a championship and an option to win a medal, you know, that's what I want to try and do. Coming back to it a second time, I feel really lucky, but also that I'm going to seize every opportunity that I have.
Do you like visualize? Do you do the whole visualization? See myself there?
Yeah.
Do you do that?
I do. I think it really helps. It can be funny. Like sometimes I'll just be on an easy run and I can like visualize a moment, like being in a final, or, you know, what I want to happen and how I see myself running it. And sometimes I'll just really try and think about it in the run up to the race and jot down some thoughts. But I think it does help. Like the mental skill is as much a skill as the physical skill. And when you're on the start line, everyone's physically so good. I really think the differences, and it comes down to points of a second of who gets a medal and not. I really think that is the mental resilience, and just I'm getting to that start line or finish line first, no matter what the situation is today.
Amazing. Yeah. And what about life after Paris? I mean, you mentioned this earlier on. You got married, so you didn't have time to like sit and like eat pizza all day and go out on the lash, no?
Yeah. So I actually continued racing for a bit after Paris. So I had about 5 races. So I let myself.
No rest for the wicked.
Yeah. No? That week afterwards, you know, it was all about seeing friends and family and getting to celebrate that moment with them, because it does really take a village. But then it was back into racing. And yeah, lots of athletes have the kind of post-Olympic dip. It's a very real thing, because it's all these high emotions and then you come down. But I went straight into planning a wedding. So I had to turn around a wedding in about 3 months. So that kept me occupied. So it was a busy summer.
Lovely though that you're married and your husband's supporting you in this journey as well.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He was out in Paris and was there for, you know, all the late nights and early mornings when we were trying to juggle both with the full-time job. So yeah, I couldn't do it without him.
Oh, brilliant. I'm really happy for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Part of when you take part of Olympics is the surge in the sports afterwards, but this is something you're passionate about, is making sure that youngsters don't drop away from the sports that they were interested in, something that you had done yourself.
Exactly. I feel like that resonates with me because I've been there, I've been that statistic. I think it's something like 1 million girls in the UK drop out of sport every year. Wow. And it's kind of going into those kind of teenage and early 20 years, like they might have been sporty at school, but it's as they grow up that they're more likely to drop out. And I get it, like I've been there. And so I just think being able to come back to the sport even if you don't end up getting an Olympic medal, what it's done for me and my life and my happiness has been so huge that I just really want to see how we can try and keep those girls in sport and explore that so that they feel safe and happy and confident, because it really can affect so many parts of your life.
Like I say, it's 43%. That's a huge number.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think it might be?
I think there's so many reasons. I mean, for me, it was kind of self-confidence and injuries that led to dropping out, but it can be everything from safety, like that's the number one thing. You've got to feel safe where you train.
Okay.
And perhaps women don't feel that for so many reasons, that they don't want to get out for a run at night. Like, makes sense. How can we make it safer for them? Or your body changes a lot as you're a girl and you go through puberty in those teenage years. Do you still feel confident enough to exercise? Is there a reason that you might feel less confident when you go to the gym than, say, men, for example? So it can be really complex, but I think there are hopefully things that are making it easier with run clubs, with getting down to exercise with friends that hopefully can tackle some of those. But yeah, we just need to make sure that those girls don't drop out, because they could be future Olympians one day.